Hello everyone, second video today. Like I said earlier, I'm going to go over the Crystal Rogers case. Very interesting case. A lot of really odd things happen. But Crystal Rogers disappeared on July 3rd, 2015. She lived in Bardstown, Kentucky. According to her boyfriend, Brooks Houck, Crystal Rogers was last seen on the night of July 3rd, 2015. In an interview with Nancy Grace, he said she stayed up late playing games on her phone and was gone the next morning from the house where they lived with their 2-year-old son, Eli, and other children. According to radio station WBKR, Brooks did not report her missing for 2 days, and ultimately it was her own family, her mother and father, that reported her missing. I told him I'm going to the police department to report her missing, her mother said, Sherry Ballard. And he said, that's what you should do. And this is what Sherry Ballard, Crystal Rogers' mother, told the Kentucky Standard, I guess is a newspaper down in that area. Excuse me. On July 5th, police find Crystal Rogers' maroon Chevy Impala abandoned with a flat tire on the shoulder of the Bluegrass Parkway. Inside was her purse, keys, and cell phone. And anybody knows a woman is not going to leave her purse and her cell phone. That's just not going to happen. And Rogers' family was suspicious of her boyfriend. When Rogers went missing, Brooks said he was initially worried about her absence since she often went out with, he wasn't worried about her absence since she often went out with friends and stayed out late and sometimes not coming home until the next morning. Rogers' family, however, was immediately concerned. The stories told just don't add up. You just don't go to bed one night and not know she's gone and then not worry when she left the baby. Rogers' sister, Brooke Ballard, told ABC News. He has not offered once to search or help or do anything for the family, she said. In an interview with Nancy Grace, Brooks admitted he and Rogers had a stressed relationship at times, but he emphatically denied having anything to do, he emphatically denied having anything to do with her disappearance. I'm 100% completely innocent in this, he said. Despite Rogers' family's criticisms, he claimed he was helping search efforts behind the scenes and said that his polygraph test was determined to be inconclusive. Kentucky State Police officially named Brooks Houck a suspect in Crystal Rogers' disappearance in October 2015, according to NBC News. He continued to deny his connection to the disappearance, saying, my whole family's name is trashed for something completely not even tied to me. It's taken a lot of energy and effort. I can't even go on the side of the road without looking like a murderer. This is starting to get silly. I don't need an attorney. I'm innocent. This, to me, is starting to get silly. Brooks has never been charged or arrested in connection with Rogers' disappearance. Brooks' brother was fired from the police department he worked at after being accused of interfering with the investigation. On October 16th, 2015, Brooks' brother, Nick Houck, was fired from the Bardstown Police Department for allegedly interfering with the investigation of Crystal Rogers' disappearance. That's interesting, isn't it? According to NBC affiliate WLEX, LEX 18. That's the news station in Lexington. Nick was accused of warning his brother that detectives planned to interview him and advised him not to speak with them. Nick later told the Kentucky State Police that he only contacted his brother to tell him that they might be trying to trip him up and he should protect himself. Nick then failed a polygraph test conducted by an examiner from the FBI when questioned about the case. When confronted with the results, Nick denied that he was lying, saying, "I don't give a goddamn," sorry about the language, people, this is just, I'm quoting what he said. He says, "I don't give a goddamn what your effing computer said. You're calling me a effing liar, and I don't like it when people call me a liar." Police subsequently released footage from the Houck brothers' separate police interviews. Nick has never been charged or arrested in connection with Rogers' disappearance. Brooks' friend was arrested for lying to police. In December 2015, Louisville station reported the arrest of Danny Singleton on 38 counts of false swearing after he allegedly lied under oath to a grand jury in relation to the investigation of Crystal Rogers' disappearance. According to NBC News, Singleton is a close friend and longtime employee of Brooks Houck. Singleton later pleaded guilty and was released from jail after being in custody for 6 months. Other members of the Houck family were caught up in the investigation. When the Houck brothers' grandmother, Anna Whitesides, was subpoenaed to appear before a grand jury in June of 2016, the then 82-year-old invoked her Fifth Amendment rights, refusing to testify for the fear she might incriminate herself. Investigators had wanted to ask her about a white car of hers they believe was connected to Rogers' disappearance. Whiteside's lawyer said, "There are lots of things, particularly in a high-profile case, where there is as frenzied an investigation as there is here, that could ensnare an 82-year-old woman." That August, Whiteside's home was searched, as were the homes of Nick Houck and his mother, Rosemary Houck, where several pieces of farm equipment were seized. According to WLKY, Whiteside's home was again searched in July 2017 following the death of Rogers' father, Tommy Ballard. Whitesides has never been charged or arrested in connection with Rogers' disappearance. Something I know about the case that I should say, the parents of Crystal Rogers, Tommy and Sherry Ballard, didn't really think the police was doing enough, and Tommy Ballard, Crystal Rogers' father, actually started investigating himself. He had a folder, he had CD-ROMs, all kinds of stuff that after he was killed that the police took, and they even said that he was probably killed because he was very close to finding out what had happened to his daughter. And in a minute, it'll probably tell how he was killed, and if it doesn't, I will tell you. Rogers' father was killed in an unsolved hunting accident. On November 19th, 2016, Crystal Rogers' 54-year-old father, Tommy Ballard, was fatally shot in the chest by an unknown person while waiting in a field for his grandson to go hunting. His family believes the same person is responsible for both Tommy's death and Roger's disappearance. And in the field where he was killed, they actually found a place from the Bluegrass Parkway where somebody had cut like a place in the trees where they had like a open shot in the field. So there was like a row of trees along the fence line of the property where they were hunting, and they had cut out this open area in the trees where they could see, and then there was another set of trees further down the road where they believe the gun that was used to kill him had laid on they had laid it on a branch to sturdy it, because there was like a grazed bullet took a piece of the bark of the tree out. When that happened to my husband, wife, and mother of Crystal Rogers, Sherry Ballard told WDRB it was no accident. Sherry believes Tommy was getting close to finding out to what happened to Rogers before he was killed. Like I said, he was investigating. He had a lot. He had files and files, and just all he had a great big box of evidence that he had found. Because, like I said, he was being the detective probably 16, 18 hours a day on the case, because he really wanted to find his daughter. And something very interesting, it's going to tell you here, there are other unsolved murders haunting Bardstown, Kentucky. Bardstown's a small town, and it's going to go over that here, and it's really interesting. The Rogers and Ballard cases are unfortunately not the only unsolved cases to afflict the tight-knit community of Bardstown, Kentucky. In May 2013, police officer Jason Ellis was ambushed on his way home from work and shot multiple times. The motive and person behind his murder remains a mystery to this day. What happened was somebody had laid tree branches across the exit ramp that he took to go home, and he stopped to get them out of the road, fearing they might cause an accident, and they placed them on the side. The shooter they know was up on top of this like ridge, and they placed him on the side where he would have to get out. He would have to park on like the right side, so he would get out here, and then the shot would be a straight shot from the ridge that the shooter was up on. Nearly a year later, in April 2014, 48-year-old school teacher Kathy Netherland and her 16-year-old daughter Samantha were found dead inside their home. Wade reported Kathy had been shot multiple times, while Samantha had been bludgeoned about the head, both women showing knife wounds to their necks. Again, the motive, and perpetrator have never been determined. So Bardstown, a little tight-knit community is, wow. Speaking in the wake of the Ballard shooting, longtime Bardstown resident Betty Greenwell told WDRB, all these killings and murders and things going on here, it makes you nervous, very nervous. Roger's aunt disappeared in 1979. That's Tommy Ballard's sister. So it's not the first time that Tommy had went through something traumatic. So here's the story on that. In 1979, Crystal Rogers' aunt Frida Shireen Sherry Ballard went missing from Bardstown, according to the Kentucky Standard. The 19-year-old was over 7 months pregnant at the time of her disappearance, and her remains weren't found until August of 1983. So her remains were found in August 1983. They were discovered on a farm close to where Roger's car was found. Her estranged husband, Edsel Eddie Barnes, and another man, George I guess Weir, it's spelled W-E-I-R, Weir or Wire, were eventually convicted and sentenced to life in prison for her murder. Signs have gone missing. Ever since her disappearance, Rogers' family has plastered signs around Bardstown and its neighboring communities asking for any information on Rogers. In July of 2017, Brooks Houck's current girlfriend, Crystal Maupin, was arrested after she was allegedly caught on camera ripping up signs connected to the investigation. On the one-year anniversary of Tommy Ballard's death, signs showed up around Bardstown speculation about Brooks' involvement in Rogers' disappearance. According to WDRB, Rogers' family doesn't know who is responsible for the signs. And both cases remain unsolved. To date, no one has been arrested for the disappearance of Crystal Rogers and the shooting death of Tommy Ballard. And nobody's been arrested for the murder of the police officer, Jason Ellis, or the school teacher and her daughter. Rogers' body has never been found. She's still missing, but I believe they have considered her dead. In March 2018, the Kentucky House of Representatives and State Senate passed a resolution honoring them as well as the victims of other unsolved Bardstown murders and urging witnesses to come forward. Tips on Rogers' case can be made to the Nelson County Sheriff's Office at phone number area code 502-348-1840. So if anybody watching this video someday has any information, there's your number to call. And you know, guys, like I said, this town is probably just an hour and a half away from where I live. And you know, there's documentaries on it. There's one lady, I can't remember her name, but she's like let's see, it might say here, I think it was on the Oxygen channel. So if you have the Oxygen channel, you can search, actually you can just do a search on the Crystal Rogers thing, and I believe it's on Oxygen, where one of those like news investigators came to Bardstown, and they actually brought in a detective from New York, a retired detective from New York, trying to find information, and they did find some evidence. And one thing they pointed out in that documentary was the fact that Kentucky State Police doesn't have a lot of money, so there was like 15 pieces of evidence taken from Crystal Rogers' car, but only one piece of the evidence was tested. And there's a retired or a former state police officer that has opened a forensics lab somewhere down there, around there, and he has several people that work at the lab. And I believe that they tested all the other stuff, and they did find some information. Like I said, you can go to that Oxygen channel and watch that documentary, and it's really good. And this is just a bizarre case all the way around. You know, how many murders? You know, the police officer, the teacher, her daughter, Tommy Ballard. That's 4 people right there murdered since 2015 or 16, whatever year it started. And then, of course, Crystal Rogers, you know, she's probably dead. She hasn't been seen since July 3rd of that year. And, you know, it's just a case that's interesting to me, mainly because it hits close to home, but it's got national attention. And if you guys are interested, you know, go on YouTube and Oxygen channel, and maybe even the Investigation Discovery channel might have something about it. But it's a really interesting case. If you do watch it, you'll be really interested in it. So that's my video for today on a case, true crime case. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like and share my videos. I don't get a lot of likes. I don't know if you guys don't like my videos or what it is, but if you do like it, please like it and share it. And subscribe to my channel, please. I'm asking nicely. And I think tomorrow I will go over the Glen Rogers case. I know I talked about it some the other day, and it's close to home for me too, and really close to home because if you watch my other video, Glen Rogers took me and one of my best friends at the time to get our first paycheck for, we was working at it's a big tobacco seed company in Winchester, Kentucky. We were 14 years old. It was our first job, and we worked there. And Glen Rogers was either dating or married my best friend's aunt, and he took us to get our paycheck. So how bizarre is that? I guess that's before he started doing all his murders. He seemed pretty normal at the time. I do know that him and the aunt had gotten into an argument, and he sat on my friend's grandmother's back porch one night and bawled his eyes out over her. And I've often wondered if that happening with her is what turned him on to killing women, because that's what he did, was kill women. And that's an interesting thing to watch too. If there's a documentary on YouTube that mainly his brother talks in it, but they've got other people in it, and it's really good. You'll be interested in that. And they actually caught Glen right here in the town I live in now. There's a video on YouTube you can watch. It's kind of funny. The Kentucky State Police are directing traffic to get Glen Rogers. He was driving this little Geo, one of them little bitty cars with the hatchback. Back in the day, they were so good on gas, everybody was getting them. They were like a threesome. There was a Geo Prism or Geo Storm, something like that. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. But the detective, he's in a suit. He actually gets out with a shotgun and shoots his tire out, and he wrecks off the road. And then it shows them not carrying him, but has him cuffed, and they're pretty much dragging him up to the police car. And the news is like, Glen, why'd you kill all these women? And he looks at them real weird at first and doesn't say anything. And then as they're, pushing his head down, putting him in the police car, he says, you come talk to me at the jail. I'll tell you my story at the jail. But if you go on YouTube and watch that documentary, it's real good. But I'm going to go for today, guys, and hope everybody's doing good. And like I said, just please like, share my videos, and subscribe if you want to. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.